Okay, we're here today to discuss the Oracle validated integration between Oracle R12 and the PinPoint sales and use tax calculation engine. And we're going to start here in the PinPoint application, where we're going to be taking a look at some of the configuration settings that we've established for a company that we call Vision Operations Corp. Now, the first area of configuration that we're going to examine are our Nexus definitions. And that, of course, establishes where our fictitious company here has Nexus. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little spoiler. To the left is the complete list, and if a name is in bold, as they all are here, that means that Nexus has been established. So Nexus has basically been established everywhere for purposes of this test company that we've set up. And you can see that by clicking on any of these states and seeing the date that it was established, so basically a couple years ago, and it expires effectively never. You know, it's all nines. So that's the first setting that we want to look at, just so that we know that we can pass in pretty much any jurisdiction. The second area that we're going to look at is the goods services matrix for Vision Corp. And we've gone ahead and filtered on Vision Corp here. As you can see, we've got two codes in particular where we want to spend most of our time. One, of course, is tangible personal property, and there's a code in the Vision Corp GL called miscellaneous TPP. And we have mapped that to our code of TPP, or tangible personal property. Now, likewise, Vision has a consulting code that they use, and we have mapped that to a code, or a tax code rather, that we call Prof Services, all one word, and the description is professional services. So as you can probably see where we're going here, most of the taxability for consulting or professional services is going to be exempt, and most of the taxability for TPP, or all of it, will be taxable. And we can actually see that by examining those tax codes. And these are the codes that we mapped those Vision Corp codes to. So here's TPP as an example. And if we look at the rules behind TPP, brings up all the different states. And by clicking on any of them, you can see, for example, that that is, in fact, taxable. And then conversely, if we were to examine the professional services code, the one that we actually mapped to, Prof Services, and we look at those rules, you'll see by clicking on any of these states that the rule is going to be exempt. So, having established that we have Nexus everywhere, and we've mapped some good services codes from our Vision Corp company to the actual tax codes inside of PinPoint, the next order of business is to open up Oracle and create some invoices to demonstrate how this works. So here we are in the Oracle R12 billing module, and we have our Vision Operations company that we've set up in PinPoint. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create some invoices that simulate various transactions using the codes that we also configured in PinPoint. So the first thing that we need to do is find a customer that we can invoice here. So let's go and find Big 4 Rental. And when I find them there, I can enter their customer code over here, and then I can proceed to create some line items. So the first line item we're going to test is the ever-present miscellaneous TPP. That is going to be 1 unit at $1,000. And to see what happens, we just have to save that down. So Oracle R12 made a call to PinPoint. PinPoint evaluated that tax code for that jurisdiction and returned a tax of $91.25. To see what the component parts of that tax are, we can enter the tax area of the billing module here. And Oracle will show us all the different jurisdictional levels. So in point of fact, there's the state, county, city, and 5 different special taxing districts. And as we scroll to the right, we'll notice that Oracle doesn't have the field length to accommodate the descriptions for those jurisdictions. However, PinPoint does, and so it's returning those plain text descriptions of those jurisdictions through the API. We'll also see the tax amounts at all the different jurisdictional levels. So here again, this first example was demonstrating a taxable transaction that returned a tax at all the various jurisdictional levels for TPP. Now, let's go back in, clear that all out, and we'll find the same client, Big 4 Rental. We'll grab the same code here, and we're going to go back into the line items. This time though, however, instead of passing TPP, we're going to pass consulting. And we all know the implication of that. That is a tax code that should not return any tax. So when we save it down, the consulting services by their nature have been mapped to an exempt code. They are non-taxable in this particular case, and they produce the result that we expect, $0 in tax. And again, we can examine the detail on that. Here again, same jurisdictions are in play, so it's got nothing to do with that and everything to do with the code that we passed in. And here you see the rate zeroed down all the way. And again, the plain text descriptions of the various jurisdictional levels coming back from PinPoint. So we use the same customer that was a taxable customer to evaluate two different transactions. One was taxable and one was exempt because of the items that were being sold. This time, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to find a totally different client, if I can spell their names correctly, called Advanced Connections. And we're going to enter their customer number over here as well. Then we're going to go back in to create a line item for Advanced Connections. And we're going to pass in a code that we've already used for miscellaneous TPP. When we do that, we're going to create a unit that, just like we did before, at $1,000 and save this transaction. And lo and behold, when it calls out to PinPoint, this time it returns 0 tax. And the reason for that, if you recall from the configuration within PinPoint, is that Advanced Connections has an exemption certificate on file in PinPoint, making this transaction exempt by way of said exemption certificate. And when we look at the data here behind the scenes, same jurisdictions, zeroed out tax amounts because of the certificate, and the jurisdictional levels here again come back. So those are 3 different scenarios covering all the different configuration options that we set up when we were in the PinPoint application, demonstrating the interoperability between Oracle R12 and PinPoint. It's been my pleasure to share this information with you this afternoon, and should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out and contact us.